27 are dead. That lifeless body of a husband, eyes still staring at his shocked wife, killed because he was identified as a Hindu. But it will not shake the world's conscience. Terrorism has no religion, and so no one will be blamed. Islamic terrorists checked the ID cards of tourists. Some reportedly even demanded the trousers be pulled down, asked them to recite the kalma, and killed those not Muslims. Where does all this hate come from? It can't all come from across the border, Anand. It comes from an ideology that transcends borders. Let me be clear. Such barbarism is only possible when backed by religious doctrine that demands extermination of non-Muslims. Anand, when will we understand that the machinations of the Universal Brotherhood are there forever? These are desperate, dastardly plans hatched by the enemy state of Pakistan and aided and abetted by some in India. Or as I said previously, the snakes and ladders game, where the snakes are provided by Pakistan and the ladders by India. But do we expect anything else in a state where leaders of NC and PDP condole the killing of terrorists like Wani? Fact is, after the Modi government abrogated Article 370 and brought relative peace, provided 9 medical colleges, 1.5 million tap connections, 8 million Ayushman card, 0.2 million homes, 0.8 million toilets, 65 million tourist footfall, 30% increase in school days, 9,000 kilometers of roads. These terror apologies have been itching to foment trouble. There has been an 87% decline in stone pelting incidents, 80% decline in terror incidents, 40% decline in youth joining terror organizations. But 48% increase in ceasefire violations by Pakistan. These guys are desperate. That heartbreaking image of the 2-year-old boy T2 wrapped in a body bag in rice is already forgotten, Anand. As was that heartbreaking image of a 3-year-old Sopore boy squatting on his dead grandfather that exposed the terror apologists. Not long ago, these same propagandists were tweeting pellet-ridden faces of children who were being used as human shields. But they turned their eyes away from the Raisi and Sopore boy. Why? Because Kashmir brutalized by Islamists and not by the fascist Hindutva state doesn't fit their narrative. How petrified are they that the world will get to know the reality of a Kashmir whose bubbling bigotry, ethnic cleansing, terrorism and religious fanaticism never enters the India narrative, where the human rights of lakhs of persecuted Dalits, Gurkhas, women, Sikhs, refugees and homosexuals were of no consequence till 370 were abrogated. But we have seen it all this before, haven't we? This diabolical game of how the atrocities against 500,000 Kashmiri Pandits didn't happen, of how Ayub Pandit wasn't lynched by a mob, of how thousands never attended funerals of terrorists, of how ISIS flags were never unfurled in Jamia Masjid, of how sons of headmasters are mistaken for terrorists, of how a sitting PM never shook hands with the murderer Yasin Malik, the Nadimar massacre, Anand, where 23 unsuspecting Kashmiri Hindus were lined up and shot point blank, is a lie. Girija Tiku, who was raped and cleaved in two by a mechanical saw while she was alive, is a lie. BK Ganju, who hid inside a rice barrel where jihadis came looking for him after his Muslim neighbor informed on him and was shot dead, and then rice laced with his blood was fed to his wife, is a lie. The slogans raised by Moss, Ralif, Salif, Ghalib, death to Kafirs, all lies, lies. You who overlook religious fanaticism and rationalize terrorism, you better sleep with one eye open tonight, because you can run, but you cannot hide from your own conscience, and it will wake you up sooner or later.